Assalamu alaikum. Before we begin, just a quick note. In the last episode, I mentioned that we will be exploring the throne of God today. That topic is actually coming up next in episode 13. Today, we turn to something equally profound and foundational, the Quranic verse of Wilayah, a verse that shapes the entire theology of divine leadership in Islam. Who has the right to lead the community of believers after the Prophet? What does it mean to have divine authority, not just political power, but spiritual guardianship? Can leadership in Islam be a matter of popular consensus alone, or is it rooted in something deeper, in divine designation and spiritual qualification? And how can a single verse in the Qur'an encode an entire theological structure for divine leadership? One of the most pivotal and theologically rich verses in the Qur'an, particularly for the Shia tradition, is found in Surah al-Ma'idah. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Your only guardian is Allah, His Messenger, and those who believe, those who establish prayer and give charity while bowing down. In this episode of reflection, we will explore the theological and philosophical meaning of Wilayah, the Quranic structure and grammar underlying divine leadership, the historical event of Imam ʿAlī giving charity during rukūʿ, philosophical reflections on authority, continuity, and epistemology. Leadership in Islam is not a political afterthought. It's a divinely defined structure embedded in revelation. The Qur'an presents Wilayah not as mere friendship, but as authority, guardianship, and nearness to God. Innama waliyukumullah. Your only guardian is Allah. From an Arabic language point of view in the Arabic grammar, the Arabic particle innama serves a restrictive function, meaning that no one else outside of those named may qualify. This is a verse of exclusivity. From a theological perspective, this creates an ontological chain. Wilayah originates with God, is manifested through the Prophet, and is extended to a specific individual or group through divine signs. Pause for a moment. If the Qur'an restricts guardianship to God, the Prophet, and a particular group, how can we allow human intervention to override this divine declaration? The verse continues with an exacting description, not of all believers, but of those who give charity zakat while in rukūʿ. الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. Those who establish prayer and give charity while bowing down. This is not a generic quality. It's a historical reference. As al-Mīzān explains, this refers specifically to Imam ʿAlī alayhi salam, who during prayer gave his ring to a beggar while in rukūʿ, an event confirmed in both Sunni and Shia traditions. Among Sunni sources, it is narrated by al-Tabari in his Tafsir al-Wāḥidi in Asbāb al-Nuzūl, and al-Thalabi in his Tafsir al-Kashf wal-Bayan. In Shia sources, it is universally affirmed and appears prominently in Tafsir al-Qummi, Uyūn al-Akhbār al-Ridhā, and al-Ihtijāj of al-Tabrisi. ʿAllāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī argues that the verse does not simply praise an act of virtue. It reveals divine selection through action. Wilayah is granted not by lineage or vote, but by the alignment of one's soul with divine authority. Have you ever considered why would the Qur'an immortalize this single act unless it was meant to mark out a figure of spiritual and political authority? The verse outlines a theological succession. God is the ultimate source of authority. The Prophet exercises that authority in human history. The one who gives charity in rukūʿ is divinely appointed as the inheritor of that role. ʿAllāmah Ṭabāṭabāqqī explains that this structure affirms both al-Riyāsa al-Dīniyya, religious leadership, and al-Riyāsa al-Siyāsiyya, political leadership. The appointment of Imam ʿAlī alayhi salam is not metaphorical. It is legislative. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and those vested with authority among you. Consider this. If God continues divine knowledge through revelation, would He not also continue divine leadership? Shortly after his final pilgrimage, the Prophet halted the caravan at Ghadīr Khumm and proclaimed that whoever I am his master, this ʿAlī is his master. According to al-Mīzān, the Prophet prefaced this with the question, "Do I not have more authority over you than your own selves?" And the people answered yes. Then came the declaration of Wilayah. Philosophically, this is not a mere farewell. It is a transfer of divine responsibility. The Prophet affirms that the leadership of the Ummah is not left to tribal politics or historical chaos. Reflect for a moment. If the Prophet was only expressing love for Ali alayhi salam, why stage it in front of thousands and link it to his own authority? Immediately following Ghadir, the verse was revealed, "Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati." Today I have perfected your religion for you and completed my blessings upon you. According to Imam Baqir alayhi salam and supported by Ṭabāṭabāʻī, the completion here refers to the formal designation of Wilayah. This verse confirms that all doctrinal content had been revealed, but the system required a living guide to preserve and enact it. Imamate is not an afterthought. It is the seal of guidance. Think about this. What kind of perfection would it be if it left behind no teacher, no interpreter, and no safeguard? Let us now reflect more broadly on the philosophical dimensions of this doctrine. Ontologically, Wilayah represents the continuity of divine governance in creation. Epistemologically, it protects the transmission of authentic knowledge. Ethically, it ensures that leadership is grounded in piety, not ambition. And teleologically, it fulfills the divine plan of guidance from origin to return. Āllāmah Ṭabāṭabāʻī, drawing on deep metaphysical insight, sees imamate not as institutional control, but as divine guardianship, an axis around which the ummah's spiritual compass revolves. Let this question sit with you. If divine revelation requires protection and continuity, what model of leadership could possibly fulfill that other than divinely designated imams? As we conclude, let's highlight the essential ideas explored today. Wilayah is divinely revealed. It's not a construct of history or consensus, but a Quranic truth anchored in revelation. Imam Ali's act is sign of appointment. His charity in rukūʿ is a prophetic moment, the convergence of devotion and designation. Authority is a chain, not a break, from God to the Prophet to the Imam. Wilayah preserves the chain of divine guidance. Ghadir confirms the Quranic message. The Prophet's declaration ensures the Ummah knows who carries the mantle of leadership. Theological completion requires succession. Without Wilayah, the perfection of religion would remain unfulfilled in practice. In the next episode of Reflection, we turn to the concept of divine sovereignty and symbolic language. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arsh istawa, the All-Merciful settled upon the throne. We will explore what does it mean for God to sit upon the throne. Is the throne a physical entity or a metaphor for divine rule? How al-Mīzān interprets this in light of transcendence, tanzih, and nearness, taqrib. So join me for episode 13, The Throne of God, Understanding Divine Sovereignty. If you found value in this episode, consider subscribing to stay tuned for more reflections from Tafsir al-Mīzān. Tap the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Until next week, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.